You're holding your
I
leg.
was holding my own leg, and
He's like, hey, this is why you can't stand up.
yeah. I don't think the blast hit up. I think the blast kind of did this, because my left leg was completely ripped off and severed and just basically yeeted 100 meters into the next compound. And we were on a security halt, so my Marines were on a security halt, and they hear boom, and they turn around and they were like, Staff Sergeant Dodson, we saw your foot flying through the air and it landed over there in the LZ. I remember growing up, I said things like, oh, I'm never gonna be a Marine. I wanna be a Marine biologist. It sounds, I wanna go swim with the orcas. I wanted to be full orca scientist, everything. I loved it.
Did you see Free Willy?
Oh yeah. Have you seen Blackfish there? That's the other side of it. I got to go backstage and meet him, and I think early on, one of the first things I said was like, because of you, I got to listen to Lieutenant Dan jokes for the rest of my life. And he's like, yeah, well, me too. I was like, oh, that's fair.
That makes two of us.
Hello, and welcome to GSF Podcast, sponsored by the Gary Sinise Foundation's Education and Outreach Initiative, aiming to educate the public on the importance of serving America's veterans, first responders, and their families.
Welcome to the Gary Sinise Foundation podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Kampsnyder, and today I'm here with my friend and fellow Marine, Brandon Dodson.
Hello.
Brandon answered the call to serve our country and stood shoulder to shoulder with his fellow Marines in some of the most challenging environments imaginable. During his 5th deployment, Brandon was wounded in combat, losing both of his legs, an experience that would change the course of his life, but never his commitment to the values he fought to protect. Welcome, Brandon.
Ooh, that's a nice intro. Thank you for having me.
We're so grateful that you traveled to be here. So to kick us off, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself growing up.
Growing up, I was the typical military kid. Okay. My dad was a Marine, so I grew up around.
The family.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm third generation Marine.
Third generation.
My mom's dad was a Marine. My dad was a Marine, and then I joined, and then it'll probably end there. But growing up, a little bit, for my dad's almost 30-year career, we didn't move around so much. Okay. We only lived in California. I was born up in Naval Air Station Lemoore in Central California. Then we were in Beaufort for 5 years, and between that, we lived in Iceland for 2 years. So I did get to live outside the country a little bit from like 8 to 10 years old.
Nice.
And living in Iceland before the NATO base there got shut down. And we were right on the corner. From my bedroom window, I could see a volcano in the Blue Lagoon.
Get out!
That was really
I've
cool.
Been there before. I was for the Marine Corps. I ended up doing a little deployment thing and stopped in Iceland.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was cool.
Yep. Did that, and then ended up back in. My dad got stationed at Miramar, so I did my last 3 years of high school outside of San Diego in Ramona, and then did 3 years of high school and then joined.
Okay, would you say it was your dad and your upbringing and being in the military that kind of influenced you?
It was my dad and the upbringing when I decided to join. I remember growing up, I said things like, oh, I'm never gonna be a Marine. I wanna be a Marine biologist. It sounds, I wanna go swim with the orcas. I wanted to be full orca scientist, everything. I loved it.
Did you see Free Willy?
Oh yeah. Have you seen Blackfish there? That's the other side of it. And then 9/11, I was a junior.
Okay.
I was a junior, and I had joined my freshman year an ROTC program, And I really liked it. I liked the uniforms. I liked shining the boots. I liked the O course. We had a 7th, 8th scale O course at my high school. I liked the shooting team that we did. And I don't think any of my parents or any of my family was ready for that because I'm so outgoing and loud and don't tell me what to do. And then all of a sudden I really like all this stuff. And then
like the discipline.
Yes, all of that. And then the 9/11 happened. Like I said, I was a junior. My dad was already deployed. He basically missed my entire senior year because he was over in Japan. But the unit that was coming to relieve him was going to Iraq, so the rotations were getting all messed up. So he missed the whole senior year, got to come back, special duty real quick, or special libo to come back, see me graduate, and then go back over there, back on deployment. So I think 9/11 was definitely one of the reasons, and the ROTC program, getting a taste of it, it was like, oh, I'm absolutely doing this. But there was no choice other than Marines ever because of my dad and growing up around it. I wasn't going to be growing up on Marine Corps bases and then go join the Air Force. I'm sorry, Air Force, but I just wasn't going to do that.
I was the opposite. My dad was Air Force, and I was going to go Air Force, and then it all happened with the Marine Corps.
My other grandpa's is Air Force. He was a truck driver in Nam, so it's a huge military history in my family all the way back,
Okay, so it just runs through your veins, Oh, and the discipline part, do you think that you liked it so much because it felt familiar?
No, it wasn't a familiarity to it. It was, I don't know, just something I was like, I can do this. Like, I know I can do this. I can stay in the uniform. And then my ROTC instructors my first year, my freshman year of high school when I was still in Beaufort, South Carolina, right outside of Parris Island. So a lot of Marine family.
You were like living it.
I was growing up playing soccer on Parris Island, hearing recruits getting yelled at and screamed at. Little did I know in 5-6 years time I would be a drill instructor yelling and screaming at high school kids. So full circle for sure. But I just loved it. I loved wearing the uniform. I loved looking sharp. I loved the snap and pop. You know, you getting screamed at, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. My dad's around. I'm not afraid of this, you know. And then just.
Was your dad, was he very like the disciplinarian with you, or was it more like when he came home?
Yes.
It was the okay. So,
yes, he was very much a Marine.
Was your rack like your bed essentially?
I tell that to Indy all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm not even making you make your bed. Just fix the sheets a little bit.
You don't even know.
He doesn't. He doesn't. So no, I had that. My dad was AJ squared away Marine. He was I think he started his career as like a straight up F-18 mechanic. And when they have their overalls, like the uniforms that get dirty and whatever, he would roll his sleeves and iron his sleeves on his overalls. AJ squared away Marine. That's who I was raised by.
And he approves.
Well, no.
If you're not watching the tattoos,
I definitely did the I'm not grooming anymore. And my dad doesn't have a tattoo. My dad's never had an ounce of dip, never had a cigarette. Super squared.
Wow.
My dad's other friends and Marine buddies that grew up with, covered in tats and all that. I grew up around that. I was like, oh, it's so American and military, just all the color. And I just knew straight up. And what I tell everybody now is, I've always been like this. It's just now I can show it and be out there and and not have to shave my face or do anything, get any more haircuts.
How many tattoos do you have?
I have, I don't know, at least 10 in the last year or so. I'm probably 20 something years into it. I've stopped counting. I don't even want to think about how much money I've spent or how many hours I've spent.
The reality will sink too much. Let's just leave that alone.
Again, for the listeners, I am everything covered by a t-shirt because I played good. All my arms, everything you can see, I didn't get until I was out. So I have like a hard line where it was like, don't go below this. I'll tattoo everything under first. And then when I get out, I'll tattoo my arms because the Marine Corps rules for tattoos were not what I would consider a sleeve. So I was like, no, I'm going to keep, I did it smart.
Yeah,
with
you
my
played
tattoo.
by the rules.
Yes.
When you in the Marine Corps with your uniform, at some point you have to have your sleeves rolled, and there is a line that you cannot cross.
And actually, Jasmine and we were trying to get MSG orders where I would go to Marine Security Guard and go be in an embassy somewhere. And I didn't have any visible tattoos, but they saw her and they were like, nope. And then I take my shirt off and they have a pool policy. So if you have stuff visible at like the embassy pool, you have to, and they were like, nope, hard no on both of you.
Get out.
Yeah. So
the pool policy?
The pool policy.
The pool policy.
If you have some sort of angel or angelic or some sort of tattoo that isn't quite as transferable into a foreign country, they don't want you to be seen like that. There's So I got told no on that.
Okay. So when did you know, you grew up in the military, you have that ingrained. When did you know you were going to serve? I mean, you said in the beginning.
Freshman year, I was in it and I knew it. And I knew I was, okay, if I do a couple of years of ROTC, I get contract PFC. So my freshman year, I was in Beaufort, South Carolina. And then that summer we moved out to San Diego, where Dad got stationed at Miramar. And I went to Ramona High School. And it wasn't a Marine ROTC, it was a Navy ROTC. And it went in Beaufort, it was like almost a cool thing to do. And then at the Navy ROTC, it was very much not the cool thing to do. So I wore those weird ROTC Navy uniforms for 2 years, got the contract PFC solid. I enlisted like my second day of my senior year. And then I was out of ROTC and I grew my hair out and I was doing all this, and then my recruiters kept saying, you're gonna come. I was like, I know, I will.
Don't worry, the day will come. I know it's coming.
It did, and then
Did you cut your hair before you went to boot camp?
Yes, I'm not that guy. Okay. Not that guy, because I know better than that.
That was a whole thing in itself.
You can show up with a big head. They will still sit you down, and them hot clippers are getting run over your head. The funny thing about showing up to San Diego boot camp as a San Diegan, you don't show up in the middle of the night. We showed up at like 3 in the afternoon. They had to wait on the bus for like 30 minutes for them to get a DI to get us off, and we set up the whole house, the Prac 100. The rooms were like 400 seats with like a Scantron, a pencil, and a pen, and the kids were like, what size underwear are you? Large. What size socks are you? And like, that's what we did. Those are San Diego kids like running.
That's your first day of boot camp too?
That was the first day.
No, I didn't know that.
And we were the last ones to get our haircuts because everyone else gets through, so they were extra hot and chewed up and gooped
like,
up.
This is just primed and ready for you.
They're all the kids are like, man, we've been here. I was like, man, we've been here way longer already, doing all sorts of working parties and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I did not.
It's a little
you're the
different.
Perfect volunteers.
A little different when you show up right there at San Diego.
Okay, I want to get to boot camp, but I do need to ask. So you mentioned 9/11. You're a junior in high school. So it inspired you even more to go? It didn't change you? You didn't feel
Didn't change. I remember kids were like, oh, are you still going? I was like, still going. I'm already enlisted. I'm going. And they're like, you know where you're going, right? I was like, yeah, I do know where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but the whole I told my recruiter, coming from an air wing upbringing with my dad, I would have been fine doing anything in the Marine Corps besides air wing. I didn't want to be I didn't want a possibility of being in the same unit as my dad and being right underneath him. So I would have been fine, gassing up trucks or something. But I told my recruiter, I do not want a desk job. I'm not joining for a desk job. I'm not joining for computers. I knew I didn't want to go to college. And this was August of 2002. And he's like, what about the infantry? And I was like, what's the infantry? Call of Duties and Battlefield games. Not all that had really super blown up and taken off. And he's like, he told me as a 17-year-old time, oh, you're going to shoot guns and blow stuff up. Oh, sign me up. So that's what I did. And I still think it's the best decision I ever made. I absolutely loved my job.
And so you and your dad were in the Marine Corps?
For many years, yes.
For many years at the same time?
Yes, he promoted me to staff sergeant when he was still an active duty captain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't see that very often.
I promoted him in country to CWO2 to CWO3, and I was a Lance Corporal, and I've seen that before, but he pinned on staff NCO to me when he was still in the Marine Corps. So yeah, that was pretty special.
Talk about a memory, core memory. Okay, so let's go back to boot camp. I mean, were you nervous then?
No, I kind of knew what was going to happen. I mean, there was like when I was living in Beaufort, all of my neighbors were DIs. All of my friends' dads were DIs. So like yelling and screaming, whatever. And I was track team, varsity track team in high school. So I was a runner. I was already running. And then what messed with me was anytime they had to they dumped our foot lockers.
Oh,
because that's like
the time.
That was the one time I'm like, I just made it all pretty. I would have to sit. If I did anything in the Marine Corps, all the way from boot camp to McQuist, Marine Combat Instructor of Water Survival, or Drill Instructor School, Infantry Unit Leaders Course, I'm like, how many people have gone before me? Hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe more. Okay, I can do that. If they can do it, I can do it. That's what I just always told myself.
Wow, that makes sense that you, growing up with drill instructors, I think it would be different if you knew that they were actually real people beyond just what you're seeing.
I remember hearing my senior drill instructor's phone voice when I was a gear guard, screaming, hello, hello. I was like, it's another person, it shook me.
Get out of here. That's a real live human over there.
God, families and stuff, what?
Okay, so tell us a little bit about I want to get into the drill instructor here in a little bit, but tell us about your early days in the Marine Corps.
It was looking back, it was a great time to be a boot and be in the Marine Corps. As I spent time longer in the Marine Corps, I was talking to a master sergeant one time, and he was like, oh, the golden years. The golden years, early 2000s, we'd ask for, say, 500,000 rounds, they'd give us 1 million, tow gunners, and everybody were getting live rounds. And as an infantryman, Marines in general, but especially as an infantryman, it's, okay, I'm gonna train, deploy, and do my job. And when it's not at a time of war, it's train, deploy on a ship and train, and then go to a different country and train, and then go to this other place and train, and then come home and do some more training. So we got to, okay, we know exactly where we're going. My seniors were OIF 1 vets in the invasion, and they're the salty of crusty that you would imagine a senior lance corporal would be after a deployment like that. And then, knowing what we were doing. And then I stayed in Alpha 1-4 for 4 years. I did 3 deployments. So I got to do Iraq in 04, a MU in 06, and then back to Iraq in 07. So getting a MU, a Marine Expeditionary Unit, where you get on a boat, a Navy boat, and float around. I went Southeast Asia.
Nice.
At the time, we were all really buttered because all you want to do is go to Iraq, and especially the boots, that was their first deployment. They wanted to go. Hindsight is 2020. I'm really glad we got to do that, because anybody that came in early 2000s around me and say they only did their 4 years and got out, Iraq. Iraq, Afghan. And in the middle of all that, I got to do traditional Marine Corps dealio where you sit on a ship and you hate life, and for a grunt on ship, there's nothing to do. You can only give call for fire classes so many times. You only run around the flight deck 3,200 times to equal 3 miles. You can't really shoot at targets off the back because they're just flapping around. Yeah. So I got to experience that as well. So I like to say I got a little bit of everything the Marine Corps offers.
You got the full plethora of it. Okay.
I got to be a squad leader. I got to be a boot in Iraq, a squad leader in Iraq, a squad leader in Afghanistan, and a platoon sergeant in Afghanistan. So I got the whole gambit of what the Marine Corps infantry offers you. After my injury, I would have gone company gunny, and I wouldn't have been with the Marines. So I like to say I didn't choose how my career ended, but I'm happy with kind of when it kind of came to fruition like that.
You had like the hard Marine Corps.
It was a squad leader fight in Iraq in 07. It was a squad leader fight in Afghanistan still in 2012. And then by the time I was in 2014 in Afghan, we didn't leave with like a company minus or company plus. So it was being a platoon sergeant higher up the cogs. It was nice.
Nice, yeah. And okay, so we'll get into that. So people often say that the Marines don't just change you, they transform you. And I know that was the way for me. So how did your experiences shape you?
So everybody in this room here knows me and knows I'm loud and brash and I'm fine with talking loud or showing off tattoos wherever they may be on my body and such. And 18-year-old joining the Marine Corps, Brandon was not like that. He was not like that really at all. No, he wasn't. And then you go deploy and you're just so intimate with just everybody knows everything about your life. And me and my buddy Ricardo would, he's my brother from another mother. And, you just get open with those guys and I after that first deployment, I really felt I came out of my shell and would have no problem coming home and telling a story about, hey, this one time I almost got shot in the face by a sniper and this, that, and it's just craziness, it just comes out now. I have nothing to hide, no shame. And I am authentically myself all the time.
I would say that it does build your confidence for sure. And you become more you. They do break you down though.
They do break you down, and I did that too. And doing things like this, people are like, "You nervous?" I'm like, man, when you're a demonstrator drill instructor in front of 1,200 eyeballs, and you got to run and jump and scream and do something super intense, and everybody, you don't get nervous as much with stuff. So it's
perspective.
Exactly, perspective.
Yeah.
It can always go back to perspective. I'm not. Is it hot right now? Well, not in a flak jacket and Kuwait right now, so it is hot, but not really, Always go back to perspective.
It could be worse.
It always could be worse.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of worse, can you tell us and take us through the day you were injured?
Yeah, so that was August 9th, 2014. Mm-hmm. We were on our last mission of that deployment. We were supposed to be home in like 2 weeks, so we were to do this 3-day op, come home and de-issue ammo and go through customs and start going home and whatnot.
Wait, so this was the last?
This was the last deployment of the last mission of my fifth deployment. Yeah.
After this mission, you're done.
Yep, we were coming home. And I remember in the shower hooch with one of my old squad leaders telling him, someone's going to get hurt on this one. He goes, you think so? I was like, always, dude. It's always the first one, the last one. And I was like, just watch. And then somebody did, but it was me. And I was first platoon sergeant. We were on, the squads were set up, or separated. So I was with first squad. We did like a little security halt, squad leaders talking to the platoon commander. 2 of my Marines kind of go into this, they kind of duck into this hole to go into this compound. And I told Sergeant Yoder, my first squad leader, I said, hey, I'm going to go in there with Corporal Matz and Corporal Edie. And it's just 4 mud walls and a little mud hut in the middle. Mm-hmm. And they were sweeping around. I said, hey, I'm going to go check that little compound right in the middle. And right where the dirt met the concrete pad to go in mm-hmm. was the pressure plate. And it was probably a legacy or something buried, and then they don't connect it to the wires. So everybody in the town knows you can walk on it, you can step on it, and then they'll see our helicopters coming from miles away. They see our trucks coming from miles away. They twist 2 wires. Now it's live. Oh. So if it's been buried and weatherproofed, it can be underground for months, weeks. And you don't get those ground signed indicators of like fresh dirt or an ant trail or any sort of thing. It's just basically invisible. So when I stepped on it with my left foot, I felt the 2 pressure plates come down. And you don't have to step on an IED to know what it is. So instantly I was just like, if I can cuss, I'll be like, fuck. Yeah. That's what I said. I was like, in my head. I didn't hear the explosion, didn't feel the explosion, didn't do any of that. Next thing I know, I'm on my side, I got my day pack on, I got my Kevlar on, and in my head, before I opened my eyes, I was thinking, timeout. Index, that didn't just happen. I'm the platoon sergeant. It usually happens to the junior guys at the front with the, they're sweeping and this and that, what the heck? And I open my eyes and I can't see anything. My Oakleys are covered with dust, so I toss those. And I look over and my right leg is just not connected anymore. It's like 90 degrees the wrong way. And I'm reaching up for my left shoulder pocket, which is where we keep a tourniquet. That's when Corporal Matson and Corporal Edie were in the compound. There was no shrapnel or anything. It was just like pressure, just like an explosion. And they kind of got blown off their feet, got their bell rung a little bit. And then they rushed up to me. They're each putting a tourniquet on each of my legs. Sergeant Yoder was actually walking into the compound, watched me step on it, and took 2 steps towards me and thought, oh, wait, whoa, I'm now the platoon sergeant. Doc, you get on him. He gets on the radio, boom, boom, boom. He gets the Z-Mist and the line going.
Immediately, he just...
You know the job above and below you.
Wow.
And when someone gets hurt, it is my job to get the 9 line, get the Z-Mist, landing zone security, all that. So he took that up. And it doesn't make sense chronologically because I was injured. I knew I was injured, but then I went into immediate action mode. I tried to stand up like 3 times. Doc is now on me. I actually changed an RC Southwest policy where you weren't allowed to have metal boot bands outside the wire because I had the same metal boot bands I had since SOI, but that piece of metal, just a giant spring, was all digging into my stumps and severed leg, and he couldn't separate them, so Doc's screaming for a Gerber and a Leatherman to cut it off, and eventually he gets my right leg completely off, and I'm trying to stand up a few times, and he hands it to me, and I'm holding it. He's like, here, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm the one that's injured. It was, it's coming.
You're holding your leg.
I was holding my own leg, and
he's like, hey, this is why you can't stand up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also, at one point, reached for my radio, pulled that out, somebody immediately grabbed it. So I also was like, okay, my night vision goggles are buried in my chest rig, and they're dummy corded. And I know, because I'm the platoon sergeant, one of my jobs is whoever's going on the bird, get all their SL3 gear, night vision goggles, radios, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, reaching down here, pulling them out. I pull it out. I feel someone grab them, they cut them, and they pull them away. And so now my MVGs are gone, my radio's gone, my weapon is, my upper handguard, they didn't even find it. It's all gone. And I was just thinking, now I didn't have anything to do, Mm-hmm. And that's kind of when The adrenaline was starting to wear off a little
Right.
bit. Doc gave me a nasal pharyngeal of ketamine. That hadn't quite taken yet. I was saying I was going into the pain cave, and there are no words to describe the pain, but it would wash over me head to toe. And it wasn't like, my left leg, my right leg, my hand, my pelvis. It was just full body pain. Almost in the sense like if you were to ever take like ecstasy or a party drug and you get that wash over you and it feels like, so amazing. It's like that, but it's the worst pain you've ever felt in your entire life. And like a wave, it'd wash back over you and it would double. And it would wash back over you and it would double. And it would wash back over you and it would double. And I remember thinking, I can't keep doing that, right? I can't keep doing that. And it did, and it didn't stop. And I was conscious for the entire time. At no point did I lose consciousness. It was 28 minutes from blast to getting put into coma on the medevac, but I was conscious the entire time. I don't think the blast hit up. I think the blast kind of did this, because my left leg was completely ripped off and severed and just basically yeeted 100 meters into the next compound. And we were on a security halt, so my Marines were on a security halt, and they hear boom, and they turn around, and they were like, Staff Sergeant Dodson, we saw your foot flying through the air, and it landed over there in the LZ. One of my Marines,
What a story.
one of the, I think, combat engineer attachments picked it up, put it in his dump pouch, and they gave it to the flight surgeon on board. But I was conscious the whole time, so when they would they had to pick me up and move me from the X, where I got blown up, to the CCP, the casualty collection point next to the LZ. We didn't have a pulled litter, because why would we? We had a poncho, which is just a tarp, and if you put somebody in the middle of a tarp and pick it up with 6 Marines, it creates like a hammock effect. Now, it wasn't just both my left legs, or both of my legs through the knee that were ripped off. It was my pelvis completely. And Doc said I was about this far apart, belly button to asshole, just ripped open, and my pelvis was completely split open. And all of my insides became my outsides, lower intestines, prostate, bladder, and all that. So before they removed me, Doc was putting all that back on my insides, and he was elbow deep inside of me, putting combat gauze and stuffing it all back inside of me. Oh, by the way, Doc was...
And you're conscious.
I was conscious the whole time. 21. Doc turned 21 on that deployment like a month before. So he was 20 for most of the deployment. And then, does the dang thing on me when he was all of 21. I was 29. But yeah, so that was on the X, and then they got to pick me up and move me to that CCP. So now the ketamine hadn't taken over yet, and my adrenaline is gone. So all I can do is just moan and groan. And in my head, I'm thinking, shut up, you sound like a bitch. That's Corporal Madsen, that's Corporal, those are your Marines. Shut up. And they would move me, and they'd have to pick me up, move me, put me down. Pick me up, move me, put me down. Pick me up, move me, put me down. And I could just feel my pelvis bones crunching and just... To say that was the cherry on top of the worst pain I'd ever felt in my entire life is an understatement. But again, I can't describe it, but it just ratcheted up and up and up and up and up. Then they get the bird, it lands, they called ahead for a pulled litter, they rush out a pulled litter. I go from just the Afghan dirt onto this taut net on a gurney, and I remember thinking
Finally.
that's comfortable. Still, absolutely in the worst pain of my entire life. My first sergeant was holding my hand the whole time. He was not my friend, he was my mentor. He was, the previous deployment, he was a gunny and I was a sergeant. And then he picked up first sergeant, I picked up staff sergeant. We stayed in the same infantry company, which is rare.
Very rare.
He was not my friend. He would be like, hey, Sergeant Dodson, grab your running shoes. We're gonna go do a counseling. And we'd run 7 or 8 miles in Afghanistan in the middle of the day, and he's talking to me like I'm talking to you. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm over here dying. So he was not my friend.
But he cared about you.
So he was doing the squeeze game with me on the hand the whole time. So he's like, you'd squeeze, I'd squeeze. You'd squeeze, I'd squeeze. Give me something to do. And when I was laying at the CCP, I could form words. I could form a word, and I was like, I'm thirsty. It was dehydration on another level. Doc's like, no, you're about to go into all the surgery. You can't have any. First sergeant's holding my hand. He's like, no, here, you can have a little bit of water. And I remember saying, see, first sergeant, I knew you didn't hate me.
That's what you said,
I absolutely said that, yeah. And then I remember getting on the bird, they were moving me, and as they were, my Marines are in the LZ security for the bird, and I remember getting on the bird with my thumbs up and my eyes open. thumbs up because I still have my fine motor skills. I wasn't deep into shock yet, and my eyes are open, I'm conscious. And then we get on the bird, and flight surgeons cutting more stuff off of me, and sometimes Hollywood gets it right because they big old prick in my neck and black, just went black. As the bird was taking off, just all black. And then
It's literally like a movie.
2 days later, I woke up in Germany. You know what else is just like a movie? When there's an explosion, you have that in the movie, it's all dusted, and you hear that whee, that high-pitched squeal, and it's a little just like that.
And everything's in slow motion. You can see it
it's
kind of
just like that. Yep. That sometimes Hollywood really gets it right, and I swear those were two of the times they did.
So you're unconscious for 2 days, and then you wake up
In Germany.
In Germany.
Yeah,
okay.
I was unconscious for 2 days in a coma in Bastion, which is the medical center on Camp Leatherneck. And I was told I needed 19 liters of blood transfused into me. They would just put it in me and it'd fall out, put it in me and fall out, put it in me and fall out. And then I woke up in Germany. So I was there for 2 days. I don't know how many surgeries I had there, what was entailed
Just trying
there.
to stabilize you.
Yeah. And then one of the other company corpsmen, he was by my side the whole time. The general of Afghanistan at the time came when I had already been home. Because they had to finish the 3-day op. So by the time they get back, I'm already in Germany. So he came and talked to all the Marines and whatnot, and they basically just turned around and went home.
So then from there, you're then in Walter Reed, right? And during the time frame, you communicate with Jasmine, but
Yes.
but not very much. But now you're in Walter Reed.
Yeah, there was a satellite phone call in Germany. I don't think either of us remember, but I don't really remember a lot of Germany either. It just remembered being in kind of an empty squad bay in Longshul, and I was on all the drugs on a PICC line directly in my heart: ketamine, Dilaudid, methadone, Lyrica. I mean, the room would spin and melt and fire and brimstone and monsters and unicorns and sparkles and light, and I was tripping. I did not like Germany whatsoever, but I was healthy enough to travel from Germany to Walter Reed on the big airplane or whatever with my little hospital bed gurney thing that locks into the deck plates or whatever. I was healthy enough to fly back in Germany. So it was like 5 days from blast to seeing my family again in Walter Reed.
What's the first thing you remember?
Landing, I thought it was a school bus, but it was just a big like ambulance, like has like a mobile like room in the back, and then they take you to the ICU, and everybody was all in yellow because they were wearing those like suits that you got to walk into and whatnot. Yeah, it was definitely a trip. I mean, everything I remember from August, September of 2014 is kind of pieced together from people telling me about, because I was in the ketamine fog, and I remember. I don't remember when, but I remember the first time we lowered my ketamine from whatever it was, probably 50 milligrams to 30 or whatever, and it was like, oh, okay,
Whoa,
here, belly
this is
button
life.
up, I'm the same guy. Now I'm here, now I'm awake or whatever. And then, it was 3 months inpatient at Walter Reed, and that was getting surgeries Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday. My legs, my stumps were stitched up, stapled, skin grafted, and like done 2 weeks after injury. My groin wound that had been completely tore open and whatnot had to heal slowly. I had a big X-fix keeping my pelvis together. I had 2 wound vacs on my groin, 1 on each leg. Yeah, that was not fun. And also the hardest part was when I deployed. Indy was about not even a year and a half old, and so trying to have like an almost 2-year-old in a hospital room. He doesn't even remember Dad. I was just this guy on the TV screen that would read him books from some of the videos that I had sent earlier, to like, here, let me hold you, and I have all these hooks and wires and snap. It was not conducive for like a young child to be in there. So that was really tough. It's like one thing to deal with the pain and surgeries. You're kind of like, you're almost like, it's on me, but I have nothing to do with this. I'm just here, doctors are doing their thing. But with like your kid, that's like that was harder to do.
Yeah, the responsibility is now on the child, but then you're also trying to heal and then carrying, how do I manage this? But then I'm also, my primary focus is also supposed to be this.
And I was lucky to have just that as my primary focus, because I had my wife and family and dad and everywhere there. They could deal with all the nonprofits. They could deal with all the stuff, all the logistics, and I was there dealing with surgery recovery. So that's a huge weight lifted off your shoulder when you have a good support network in that time of recovery.
What was harder the physical, emotional, or mental part of recovery?
Mental.
How so?
Physical stuff is easy. Okay, you're broken. Today you're going to try to like sit up a little bit. Tomorrow you're going to try to sit up and move a little bit. There's like these small little goals you can do. Emotional, I don't know. I don't regulate my emotions regularly now, so who knows? But mental, it was, okay, say you're even past the inpatient days and like you're just going down to the MATSI, you're doing your PT, you're doing your OT. You got to do an hour of physical therapy, an hour of OT. Okay.
Occupational therapy.
Well, yes. I'm going to stack an hour of cardio before and after that because I'm a Marine and I want to get a workout in. And I would do that Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, I wouldn't finish the session and I would go be zonked for 18, 20 hours. My body needed sleep. And so I had to mentally like, okay, reel this back. My dad, 30-year Marine, would have to be like, oh, I just got this socket today. Doesn't quite fit, but I'll make it work. And he's like, no, this ain't your sleeping system. Hey, SIF doesn't care. You just get what you get. This is, you send it back, even though they put all that work in it, you just have to send it. It has to be done the right way. And mentally changing that from, whatever, I'm Marine, I'll just deal with it, to like, no, you have to actually kind of be finicky and picky with your stumps and your legs and all, getting up and walking. And then also, I was lethal. I was at the height of my career of being a leading man in combat. I was a lethal dude and I enjoyed my job. And then now I'm having an emotional breakdown because I can't pull the trash bag out of the trash can because I can't balance on it. And you just want to put your head through a wall. So that was, I've never dealt with thinking about killing myself or any sort of like that. But all of a sudden I'm on the edge of that spiral and I could go, okay, I see it now. I see maybe why some guys, I could totally see why some guys get down into this and that's on them and everybody's different, but that's not me. I'm gonna back off. But getting to that edge, again, I couldn't step off a curb. I could walk. I was starting to walk in my legs, but if there was a 6-inch curb and there was nothing for me to grab on, I couldn't step off of it. But 6 months ago, I was leading an entire platoon, locating, closing with, and destroying the enemy. That was one of the big hurdles for me mentally to get over.
You could understand how, the compassion seems that you also gain the insight of other people going through struggles and knowing like, now you get it, now you understand.
Well, I was that guy, I didn't understand it. I still kind of feel that way. And sometimes I'm like, just shut up and nut up and go, Marine, God, But, everybody, maybe it took me getting blown up to lose my legs to get at the edge of this problem. Maybe it doesn't take something that much for somebody else.
Exactly.
But I was at that edge and I made the choice of, okay, that's not my style. I'm not going to go do that. But like I always say, belly button up, I'm the same guy.
Did anyone inspire you during your recovery?
Absolutely, absolutely. The first wounded warrior that walked into my room, actually segued into my room, was Cedric King. Of course, we all know Cedric King. Yeah,
yes.
Cedric King is the super amp. And he rolled into my room and he said something to me. He goes, oh, your life's better off now. And I was thinking, oh, you're on more drugs than I am. I have a PICC line in my heart.
What are you
on, bro? My God, bro. And then less than a year later after that recovery, I was still at Walter Reed, I got it. Because I was like, okay, obviously I'm dealing with all this still, but I was in the foundation. I knew we were going to get a home. Indy's, he's in the Purple Heart Association for a scholarship. And I could just see there were parts of my life. One, our life path completely diverted what we thought we were going to be. I had another 9 years in the Marine Corps at least. And now we were like, okay, that's not what we're going to be doing. We knew we were going to eventually go back home to California and up in San Diego. And okay, it was like things were happening. I could see, again, where Cedric King was coming from.
Right, he could see the future.
Yes,
he was already living the future, and
exactly.
he's telling you in your situation, like, I'm already here.
And he rolls into my room on a Segway and those cool X3 legs, and I'm like a dude, I was like, man, that's cool. I know it's probably better to have organic legs, but I'm like, man, those are so cool looking. So, yeah.
And he's more than mobile. He's, fully functioning.
Oh my God.
And just
people ask me if I'm ever going to run marathons, and I'm like, no. I know guys that do, and I'm good. Cedric King, super amp. I'm not that guy.
We're just cheering them on from the sidelines.
Dude, I'm so good at cheering on.
Got it.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be the loudest one.
I will have a sign that says "nice legs." ... Rub it in or something on the side of the marathon.
All right. Of course, your wife Jasmine, who's sitting over there, is also Marine. She keep you in line?
Always.
That was a very quick answer.
Always. I was just telling her today, I'm like, or like last night, I was like, oh, it's nice that you're a Marine too. You have situational awareness. You see things.
Yep.
She doesn't leave the car on empty on gas because she's a motor T trained operator, preventative maintenance. She knows what to do. There's certain things that are a little benefit like that. Like she's not a little girly girl, and you know, that's what I like. That's what I'm here for.
On her podcast we talked about you being a drill instructor, and how that actually attracted her.
Oh yeah. Women Marines love drill instructors. That's a fact. We all know that. we all do.
I have a healthy fear of drill instructors, okay? A very, very healthy fear of them. Do you have any funny DI
Does this
stories?
like get you scared
there
right
is
now?
I'm not going to lie, there was a little bit of like a, oh gosh. Do you have any funny DI stories?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's some wild, silly stuff. And as a guy that goes down there, you just gotta like find the funny stuff. But you gotta it's
find the humor in the chaos.
Because it's way different than anything hard in the infantry. You think hiking around in boots is tough. Put on core fams and run around all day and yell and scream. It's also a young man's game.
What are core fams?
The dress shoes, the little dress shoes, and they're not comfortable at all. And of course, I had the ones with the leather soles and the taps on them, and you'd slide around and whatnot. But it's a young man's game. I'm glad I went down there. I hit my 5-year mark in drill instructor school. But I mean, geez, funny stories with recruits. There'd be kids that like. Luckily you could kind of like do this and laugh because they would scream and it would be like this big loogie would stick out and just smack themselves right in the face, and it's just like they got all pink eye and it's just gross, or like pink eye so nasty like their glasses don't even sit on it. Just recruits are silly. I don't even know.
The transition you go from being a recruit to now watching them and like training them.
Yeah, it's. I like to say it was again. People were like, "You're gonna be a DI? You're such a joker." It's Halloween, dude. As soon as you put that campaign cover on, you can be tired and you're walking in the parking lot and you start getting closer to the duty hut and your posture changes and you just get in there and get all intense and whatnot. I was good at that.
Do they train you how to do the voice? I mean, like,
no,
or to scare
drill instructor school
you know.
teaches you the rules and gets you in shape. You don't learn how to be around recruits until you're around recruits. Because you're like IT-ing each other, but you're a bunch of sergeants and staff sergeants. You're not really IT-ing. You have to get around recruits. There's a rhythm. There's a flow. There's certain things you can say, and just like you really have to be in it to do it. That's why, people have been like, I learned to read people really well in as a DI because you just get in their heads. Physically, you're not going to break some of these kids. Some of these kids are like. I had a kid that was a Golden Gloves boxer in Orange County. He could have messed my world up any day he wanted, but he didn't because, the dealio. But I would try to break him off, but he couldn't. So you got to get in their head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to start, they're falling back on the hike. Like, oh, you yelling and screaming at him doesn't work. Okay, now I'm asking you, what's your dad do? Oh, your dad's a policeman? He gets back to he gets back to his community. Oh, he serves? What do you think he would be like? Think of you right here in the back, falling out, blah, blah. You just got to get in their head and just make it work or it doesn't,
Or just like,
or it doesn't, or bye, get out of here. You're not going to be a Marine. I'm
Man.
going to recycle you.
That's wild. That is, or you do as you were in boot camp, the Foot Locker. Just keep dumping
do something
them
that gets in their head.
Break them in some way.
And then you see the ones that are really good, and you're like, all right, you're not going to tell them that, but you're like, all right, you're good. You're going to be a good Marine. The other ones, you're like, okay, I know exactly why you're here. Dad, Mommy gave you everything. You got the silver spoon. You had to prove himself, and look at you. Now you're crying on day 2. Get you home.
But it lured Jazz in. It lured Jazz in.
Yeah, sure did. I was fit. I had that DI voice. And I had a Harley Davidson.
My body go,
Come on, man. I had a Harley. I was riding around. Yeah.
You had the triple threat.
I was. And I love telling people, my wife and I, she was already out of the Marine Corps the second time. She got recalled. So we never knew each other as Marines. I dated a female Marine one time. Almost got me kicked out of drill instructor school. So I was over that. No. And we just met in a bar. Like Marines should.
Yeah.
December 31st, 2009.
Like Marines should.
Yeah. Well, everybody meets online now. Where'd you guys meet? In a bar. Marines, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, okay, speaking of Jazz, she moved from being wife to mother to caregiver in an instant.
Damn near, yeah.
Yeah. How important is the caregiver role to the healing of the mind, body, spirit, all of it?
Huge. Like I said, good support network. I was injured. I was the last injured guy for like the whole GWAT for like over 2 years. So there was a lot of experience that had gone before me. A lot of my physical therapists, nurses, and doctors, they were there pre 9/11. They'd seen. I was not the 1,000th Marine they'd seen. I was not the first honorary Marine. I was not the first one to have a wife and kid and whatnot. But you'd hear stories of guys that are 19 with no family. They don't have a mom or dad or a family, whatnot. And you can kind of see maybe they get a little lost, or maybe the recovery isn't as good. But like I said, having a wife and dad there that just dealt with everything else. There's so much. You were just thrust into this wounded warrior world, especially in 2014, where it was already a well-oiled machine, and there was only 2 wounded warriors in 2014. Me and Aaron Alonzo, who was injured 6 months before me, and that was like the only 2 guys. And I was a staff sergeant, so I was kind of already higher up, like on some high-vis eyeballs. A lot of generals and people were coming over, so like they were a barrier for a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't imagine what Building 62, the little apartment that we lived on Walter Reed for the 2 years by myself would have been like. I'd have spiraled out. I would have gotten, and I would see the guys, they're drinking, they're smoking, and they're drinking BFC canned monsters, and I'm like, your body is recovering.
Yes.
You got to be healthy, and you see them. But I probably would have been that guy. I would have been a 29-year-old knucklehead if I hadn't had a family or whatnot. And I still was, but it would have been way worse without the full caregiver system. But yeah, and you kind of see it from the hospital, from all the stories. There's like, it's either the Jasmines, like the rock, that they're there, they're not going nowhere, or you hear the horror stories of quadruple amputee wakes up out of surgery with a Post-it note on his chest and a wedding ring says, I can't handle. Or just other terrible stuff like that. And I didn't pick that. So I picked a Marine who was going to stay by my side.
You got the solid rock.
Solid Marine.
Yeah,
she was a
always.
combat vet when I was in high school, remember?
She did mention in her podcast
Good.
that there's this great dynamic that she has an understanding, and that what you're going through or whatnot, but then she also lacks a little bit of that sensitive, like, oh,
Yeah, none of that. That lasted less than 2 weeks. Straight up. They were like, no, don't do that. You have to let him do it. Just let him fall. Let him do a thing. Don't help. Yeah.
Not here.
They didn't have to explain that to her very much. They just kind of took that up naturally.
She's like, get up.
Exactly.
All right, looking back on the early recovery days, what do you wish you had known then that you know now?
Sled hockey.
Really?
I wish I'd have been playing sled hockey from way back when.
So find something, focus on.
Yeah. I did get told by a guy that was like, say yes to everything while you're at Walter Reed. There's a lot of trips, there's a lot of benefits, there's a lot of just things to do. You got a family, he's like, just say yes to everything. And so we did, but I didn't start playing sled hockey until I was already retired and living out in California. So I'm like, I wish I'd have found that earlier. But I was hand cycling, and I was swimming, and I was doing warrior games. I was doing everything. So that was a good 2-year time. But yeah, I wish I'd have known sled hockey a little sooner.
Yeah, I like that. I like whoever said, say yes to everything, even if like you're in, because your mentality is you're just trying to.
Oh, would you like to go do this? And you're like, no.
No, not for me. I don't deserve that.
That's kind of like that mentality you might have, but it's like also while you're there at Walter Reed, it's going to be basically everything's handed to you on a silver platter, and I wasn't going to be like afraid to leave, but I also was told, don't try to leave here early, because you're going to leave early, you're going to hurt yourself, you're going to come back, and you're going to extend your stay even longer. So like they're like, stay when you need to, and then go, because you could tell there were some guys that just got comfortable.
Oh yeah.
And now they're about to retire. Oh, there's some new phantom thing wrong with them and whatnot, and yeah, it's just they're in their own mental thing. Also though, I've gotten 8-9 years past Walter Reed. I don't judge anybody from their time at Walter Reed. A lot of us were real ornery. A lot of us were a little pissed off at the world and might have said this, that, and the other thing. But when you're a year or two post-injury, post-blast, it's a tumultuous time. So yeah. I get it.
You and your family have grown so close to all of us at the Gary Sinise Foundation, but especially Gary. And when his son, Mac, died, it impacted all of the RISE recipients. And he was going through something unimaginable. But he often talked about how the families of our fallen and our wounded families continue to inspire him. How did that feel for you, knowing that?
Not surprising. Not surprising whatsoever. And there's not enough good things I can say about Gary. If anybody has ever asked, like, oh, did you meet any celebrities? I'm like, oh yeah, I met a few, a bunch. They come to the hospital, and then I was like, and then there's Gary. Because like, again, meeting him through the hospital in those early days, it's like, if any sort of celeb or music artist or MMA fighter or somebody's coming, they got their USO rep, they got their team, their rep, and it's like a whole thing, and they got to maybe keep the crowds away because, you know, the regular nurses and regular hospital staff will try to crowd them and whatnot. Gary walks in, he knows the front desk lady's name, he's by himself, he's been there 3 times that week, he's just way, way different. And there is something incredibly genuine about him. And we did a Nashville Salutes Heroes, and there was a police officer woman who's like, you speak to Gary and it makes you feel like you're speaking to an old friend.
Yep.
And it's probably because he remembers every single thing. I don't know how he remembers all these. I always think, how many veterans has Gary shaked hands with? He remembers everyone's name.
I know.
If you gave that man a coin, he'll remember you and remember where you gave it, what unit it was. Like, I can't fathom that.
I know.
So for him,
Yeah.
and everything in his life, just with Mac and his own personal family and everything, just not slowing down whatsoever. If anything, speeding up and ramping up and getting bigger, just speaks to his character. I'm not surprised whatsoever. And if anything, I'm glad we could at least be some sort of personal inspiration to him, because I'll tell you right now, I would hope no wounded warrior is like out there going, I'm gonna go inspire today. I'm gonna go be an amputee in the world and inspire and do the thing. It's not really, at least the veteran ones I know, that's not really how we are, but it's nice. Okay, Gary, you're so close and so intimate with us. Yeah, maybe help that perspective with you, you know, because I don't know any celebrity that's closer to any sort of wounded family members and whatnot than Gary, you know?
No.
So
He is one of a
I'm glad
kind.
he's got us to use that, you know, if that makes sense. And it's not like we're trying to do that. That's not our goal, but it's, I mean, if he needs to look for inspiration, man, he's got a whole family that's, you know, outside of his bloodline, you know?
Oh yeah, he's got an army of us, for sure.
Absolutely. Small army. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk about when you first met Gary?
It was a Lieutenant Dan Band show. It was maybe the second time I was outside.
In Naval Station, or
At Walter Reed.
at Walter Reed?
Yeah, at Walter
okay.
Reed. It was like, I was still on my big power chair and this and that. And it was a cool band. And I was just thinking, dude, these guys rock. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was like, man, this is actually really fun. They can kick butt. They got some real rock star vocals.
Powerhouses.
Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah.
And then we got to go backstage and meet him. And I think early on, one of the first things I said was like, you know, because of you, I got to listen to Lieutenant Dan jokes for the rest of my life. And he's like, yeah, well, me too. I was like, oh, that's fair.
That makes 2 of us.
And then after that, it just, you know, you'd see him and he'd come and hang out. And then I'd tell people, oh, and people are actually surprised I've met Gary.
I know,
when
me
I talk
too.
about the
All the time,
foundation.
yeah.
I'm like, I've been to his old house out in, you know, California, you know, like, yeah.
Your family.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories is, I think it was the Hotel Del Coronado when we were doing the concert for like the SEALs
the
are all
Father's
out
Day
there, and the
concerts, those are the
Father's Day
best,
concert,
yeah.
and I believe it was, I think Mac was there and the family was there, and you strut up in this T-shirt that has, I don't even remember what it says, but it has his face on it.
It's like a bobblehead version of Gary, and it literally says Gary Sinise, Hollywood bad boy. Which, name one scandal this man's ever been in. Ever. None. Zero. The cleanest cut, AJ squared away celebrity you've ever heard of. And I was like, I randomly saw that on Instagram. It probably came from, you know, some South American screen printer or something, but I bought it. And at any GSF event, I bring it. It's
and
so
he
silly.
poses with you. I think he
he
even
did the same face and everything. It was so silly.
It is probably, oh, my cheeks hurt. It was one of the funniest things.
And that's what's great about the foundation too, is I can be authentically myself, where
Yeah.
there is a time and a place for the Cedric King vibes, the Southern Baptist preacher that's real smooth, and he can genuinely inspire you in his suit and everything.
Oh yeah.
I'm not that guy. So maybe a little humor and a little silliness and a little
You're you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we love
the
you for it.
foundation lets me do that too.
Yeah.
They won't give me a tag that says no toes, but whatever. That's my
Well, they
name.
have to draw the line a little bit, okay? So, okay, what was it like finding out that you were accepted into the home building program?
It was towards my end of the 2 years at Walter Reed. I had dealt with, there are 35,000 nonprofits that specifically benefit veterans at the time, and every single one of them came and knocked on my door. They're not all created equal. But it's one thing if it's like, hey, do you want to do a little trip? Or hey, here's just a check or whatever. And that's kind of weird too. But then it's like, hey, we're going to build you a house. And that's a huge, huge thing. It's just knowing it's a giant weight lifted off your shoulders. And sometimes it doesn't feel right. And sometimes it's like, it's too much, especially in the early days. And you'd have to have somebody else, like a Jasmine or even someone else, be like, dude, you don't have legs. Because you're already getting used to like, I don't have legs, but that's my new normal. I'm just part of that now. It's just whatever. I don't have legs. Of course I don't have legs. I have my wheelchair. But when it's put in perspective, it's amazing. And I actually got the call. It's probably 11:30 at night or so, and Gary calls, and it was a random number, and I was like, oh, it's Gary Sinise. And I'm chatting with him for a while, and he's the one personally to call to let you know. And then after we're chatting for maybe 15, 20 minutes, he's like, oh, hey, I gotta go back, I'm on set. I'm like, Gary, you're working? Gary, you're on set. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting here just BSing about, I don't know, the dumb crap I did that day in my wheelchair or whatever, this and that. I'm like, oh yeah, he's on set. They're like, God, hey, big star, get over here.
You're important.
So yeah, but his priority was that. Oh, and that's the first concert I saw him. I remember he said this. He goes, hey, CSI New York is off air now. It just went into syndication. And everybody's like, boo, oh no. And he goes, but my full-time job now is helping veterans. And everybody cheered. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And it's true.
And it's true.
It's true. I don't think he's acting or doing anything. He's doing this.
The primary focus is this.
Building the legacy, and I love it because his name's going to be on it for a long time. It's going to bring a lot. And that one thing I've always said about the foundation, ever since 2014 days, is the way Gary is, he brings in the right people because they're not all like that. And I can name names, but if nonprofits get really big, they get a little corporate-y, and it's less about people and more about numbers, and it's never like that here. So he brings in the right people, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your family. It has to be family, and that's at the heart of it.
Well, it has to be family. It has to be done at Gary's level, at Gary's requirements and what because it's his name, and so everybody else falls in line. And it is things like it's not always a huge dog and pony show, or it doesn't always like. How long did the foundation go with not even having ads? Just word of mouth.
Oh yeah.
Just word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's insane. Building 50-some homes or so with just word of mouth and not even opening it up. And no other nonprofit does any sort of events with veterans and law enforcement and firefighter first responders together. Not just like, hey, we service both, but Nashville Salutes Heroes
bringing
was
you together.
both.
Yep.
And that just is uncommon, because then you start talking to cops and they're like, oh, we don't deserve to be here. When they're standing next to a guy like me, and I'm like listening to the story of how you got shot by a 40 cal 9 times in your leg and had to engage the hostage. You were doing that, officer, and going home tonight. You know what you did was in America, and you had to shoot an American. It's completely different going on the other side of the planet as a veteran.
Yeah.
So like getting these types of people together is great. So like no other foundation's doing that.
Yeah.
So GSF's the top tier, man.
It all stems from Gary.
It does.
That director
And
brain of his. He
thank
knows
God.
exactly all the little.
And he knew. He knew what he was doing.
Yep. Can you explain to our listeners how a smart technology and adapted home helps?
Oh man. I mean, we were after Walter Reed, we moved on to Camp Pendleton, where if you were a retiree, you could just live on base. And they gave me a handicap accessible home with brand new plush rug carpet that was huge. No. And it's like the wheelchair doesn't fit in the kitchen at all. It was a handicap shower, not really. I mean, it's tough. And then you get in, it's just the space. Everything's open. My wheelchair just can float around anywhere. The blinds, like you can just hit from your phone. You can absolutely be in bed and just be like, boom, turn the lights off, turn the blinds off, turn the TV off, maybe turn the music on. And that's so nice, because if I had to go do that in that house and manually do every blind, I would, it would get old.
Yeah.
And then the shower, the bathroom I always tell people, is the most talked about and focused on room that you build in the house, because one, it's individual for each person's needs. What I need is not what a quadruple amputee needs, is not what a paraplegic needs, and this and that. But it is, no matter what, the most challenging aspect of your daily life that you have to do is either going to the bathroom and showering. Yeah, and absolutely dangerous. And you sit on some of these like pleather soft things and you get on there, you could tell they're designed for like an old person to stand up, do something and sit down. But when you don't got legs, you can slip right off of that and bust your butt, which I already busted and I don't want to bust open my pelvis again. So that is huge, having a big heated stone to sit on. And I forget his name. His picture's right up here over in the wall. He's one of the early, he's a triple amputee, Army Special Forces guy.
Oh, John Masson?
Yes, John Masson. He told me one time, he goes, dude, the vacation starts when you get back home. Because then, like, yeah, you can have your hotel, but it's not even if you have a handicap room, which even if you don't, you got to deal with it. But you get back home, it's like, oh, you could just be in your chair. You could just shower easily. You could just get around easily. You don't have to, like, does my wheelchair work in this hotel room we have right now? Yeah, kind of, sort of, but not like it does at my house.
Yeah.
And it's just, and we noticed too, when we got the home, we didn't have the home just to us three for 2 weeks. We had people out, and my friends are over, and all of a sudden my friends are like, dude, we lost Brandon. Because at their house, I go and I sit, I take my legs off and I'm there. I can't get in and out of the back patio. It's like 2 different steps. My wheelchair don't work. But now all of a sudden at my house, I can host, I can go to the kitchen, I can get some stuff, I can roll back, and they're like, we lost Brandon, where'd he go? Because I can roll, I can go anywhere. So that was one of the other cool little things to find out.
You're no longer
about the
just
house.
like holding court.
Yeah,
You're like,
I'm just
no,
like,
I get to go and do it.
In my friend's backyard, I'll butt scoot out once and then just sit there and then wait and then butt scoot. I'm not trying to go back and forth. So it's just having full access to everything. Or when we were at Walter Reed at Building 62, Indy was young. He knew what corner of the room he could go to that I couldn't get to, which is cute and funny until you're babysitting him and it's not cute and funny anymore. And again, you might have a whole ass triggering episode because dealing with stuff. Now it's not like that. He can't get anywhere that I can't go. So
it's
yeah,
fully accessible.
So yeah, there's all sorts of little things. We've been in the house almost 9 years, and sometimes we'll wake up and it's just like we're still in the honeymoon phase. I like to say when someone comes over to the house and they hadn't seen it, we give them the tour. I just fall in love with it all over again. I'll be like, "Ooh, look at how my microwave is mounted." Or, "Oh, look at this," and I'll do the touchpad and do all the things in the house and love it. Yeah, I love it.
Do you have a favorite feature?
I force people that come to my house and stay to shower in my bathroom.
Stop.
Because it's way cooler and bigger than theirs. And I'm like, what Pandora station do you want? Blast the music. I'm like, put all 3 shower heads on. Dude, just enjoy it, Like,
You force them.
I force
You're
them.
like, hi,
It's like,
welcome to
my
our
house.
home. This is your shower.
Yeah,
They're
showering
like, this is in
Indy's
your bedroom. You're like,
I was
I
no,
don't care.
You got to shower in mine. And some people are a little weird and they come out and they go, okay, yeah, that was pretty bad. So I was like, I told you, right? Like, it's amazing.
They're believers by the end of it.
Like, do you get to blast, Metallica when you're doing your shower from the overhead speakers? No, but I can. Let's do it. You got to experience
And you will
it.
too.
And always.
Okay, so what impact has the home had on Jasmine and Indy?
Jasmine and Indy. I mean, we were always getting out and wanting to go everywhere, people, because living on base, it's like everything is 30 minutes. You have to get off base. I think now we're a bunch of homebodies. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to leave. We just want to stay in the house. But no, for Indy, he doesn't realize if I didn't get blown up, he would have probably had 2 different middle schools already, 3 different elementary schools.
Yeah.
We would have lived in Lejeune. We would have lived in hopefully Japan, Hawaii. It would have been only bouncing around a few places. But instead of that, right before he started kindergarten when we got the house, so he just gets let's quote unquote, a normal upbringing.
Right.
Kindergarten to high school, he's gonna have the same friends, the same house, the same everything. I didn't have that at all. I didn't grow up with a sense of community, but I grew up with a sense of country because I lived on both coasts and outside of it, before I was 10 years old. And he gets more of that community sense, which is really, when we were still at Walter Reed, and it was like, I knew our life was happening, and it was like, we need to get Indy into school eventually, kindergarten, and get the home. And we got those in like a matter of a few months. And it was like this huge chapter, like, okay, here's the next, recovery days are gone. Boom, now we're just in the house. And then we got to kind of really breathe and take a few years, just really breathe and kind of just live. Because when you're in the Marine Corps, it's like, oh, you got a house, you better put everything up on the walls because you might be gone in 6 months to 2 years. So get used to living it. And now it's like, okay, well, this is our house. Well, we don't have to put up anything right away. We can just kind of naturally live in it. So, Yeah. You guys turned us into homebodies. We used to get out and do a bunch of stuff. Now we just wanted to sit at home. Sorry.
And it's the place where you have full accessibility and can really thrive.
Oh, yeah.
They
So
don't
all the
have to worry
parties
about
coming
it.
here. We're hosting.
You will all come to this
Yes.
location, and you will check out your shower.
Yes, 100%. I make people go and touch the tile. I'm like, touch it. It's flat to the touch. It doesn't look like it, but it is.
Oh, I love that. Okay, if you could go back and give 14-year-old Brandon a piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, 14-year-old Brandon. Zig when you should zag. No. 14-year-old Brandon? Oh, you know what I would tell him? I'd be like, join the Marine Corps, but honestly, dude, everything that you think is cool right now is cool. Oh. Everything you're into right now is actually cool. Because I feel like I got out at 31 after I retired, and then it's kind of like, okay, now what? And almost even at 31, and even if you get out like I did, it's kind of like you just resort back to like 18-year-old, 17-year-old Brandon self, and it was kind of like, well, I want to now like get tattoos and grow my hair out and go to concerts and just, I get to live like that,
Right.
And it's like I am not in the interest of having a hard job all the time either. So my purpose is like, okay, I like to just live with the life and be the family man, or we get to come to Nashville, or we're going to go to Orlando, we're going to try to go to Hawaii with the family. We went to Japan last year. Like, just that's what I am afforded, to live. And that's, I would tell him that, but I don't know if he would believe me. I wouldn't.
How old is Indy? He's 13, right?
13.
Yeah. Would you give him the same advice?
No, Indy's he's just like me.
Jasmine's
but there's
laughing in the corner.
I know.
She's like,
he's just like me, but I don't think we're going to have to talk him out of going to the military or doing. I don't think he's going to want to do that, but I don't know what he's going to want to get into.
Yeah?
I'm trying to put some little feelers out there for him, like, hey, you don't have to join the Marine Corps, but you could do other things of service, like firefighter, police, or some sort of community service where you have a purpose. I try and tell him, like, that's the kind of job you should go for. I'm like you don't want to be service or just waiting tables or just being fast food guy. Like, you can get something bigger, but we'll see what he gets into.
Yeah.
It's scary too how much he is like me. So sometimes I'm like, oh no, don't be thinking like that already. Oh no.
He's going to be a drill instructor?
No, I don't know. I don't think about that. He's a little softy sometimes.
Yeah.
But I have to remind him, dude, both your parents are Marine combat vets, like both of them.
Yep.
So I was like, there are things that we can't turn off, like time anxiety. He's kind of like, oh, we have time. I was like, we do not have time.
We do not
15 minutes early is on time. Like, okay.
Run!
Yeah, no, like that.
He's like, we'll get there.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, like I tell him.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
like, dude,
we do know that in our
I'm
house
like, dude,
too.
I'm like, oh, you're making me do all this. I was like, dude, I'm making you fluff a sheet. I'm like, trust me, I had to have 45-degree corners on mine, bro. Like, don't even. But it'll be interesting because he's actually, he's 13 and it's, voice is dropping and he's turning into a little man. But right now he's just all obsessed with soccer. He hasn't found girls yet, so that's good. That's coming.
It's coming. Don't worry.
And I'm worried about Jazz is gonna. I always tell him, I was like, I'm not the one you got to worry about. You bring home a chick, you better mom better be approved because we are not silencing or censoring ourselves. It's gonna happen, man.
He's gonna give PSAs.
Oh man, he better. He better if he's smart.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and just sharing your story. And we're so lucky to have you as part of the GSF family.
You guys are.
Yeah, forever. Forever. We are. We're so blessed.
No, I'm lucky to be a part of it. I like being an ambassador now.
Yeah.
And I was telling my friends back in the day, like, oh, what college are you going to do? What are you going to do? I was like, I am going to get through this life with a purple heart and a smile. Kind of had that half jokingly, but I think I am.
Yes.
I think I am.
And you are.
And I am. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I like it. I'm humble brag. I'm good at it. And I love being able to just this skill I have, being able to talk, the gift of gab and storytelling, and I get to do it on the GSF level because it's the tiniest thing we can do to give back because the small army of people that helped us get into a forever home. And there's so many people out there in corporate America that are like just giving their hard-earned money to it.
Yeah.
And getting on stage, getting to talk about it and letting them know, that is actually really purposeful to give, for me to be able to give that back,
Oh yeah, for them to connect with you and for you to share your story and to be so vulnerable and open to do that.
And not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
And I like to get out there and get vulnerable and tell the stories and shake the hands and do the whole thing, man. And everybody's so amazing.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Love it here.
All right, as we do with every podcast episode, Mac will close out the show.
You've been listening to GSF Podcast, the official podcast of the Gary Sinise Foundation. If you'd like to find out more about what the foundation is up to, or if you'd like to make a donation, please visit GarySiniseFoundation.org. Make sure to tune in next time for more interviews, and thanks for joining us.